Thank you, Screen Ghost. I appreciate it. Well, this is by request of my niece. I'm not a non-Swiftie. I'm not a Swiftie hater. But this is a special request, and I am, looking forward to segueing into the music world a bit. So, sorry, we're live, and I really appreciate Screen Ghost's heads up about the microphone. Wow, I had no idea. Can you hear me now? So yeah, we got a lot of catching up to do, and I think yesterday was a tough day for me. I'm not sure why. It might have been the Monday after the holiday weekend, and I didn't exactly. Awesome. Thank you, Screen Ghost. You can hear me clearly. Thanks for the help. It takes a village here, and that could have been quite some time before I figured that out. It's like sometimes it's like the dark side of the moon here. Yeah. So no, let's see. What do I know about Taylor Swift? I would say I like the music. I think I have the same complaint, which a lot of people have, is like, I like to be able to listen to recordings over and over and find something new every time. And I don't really get that with the T Swift records to date. But I love the hits. I mean, I'm a sucker for pop music for sure. How is Zooborns going? Thank you. Well, we are now trying to get our book under wraps and get our book finished. We're working on a new book, and that's exciting because we haven't had one since 2000. I want to say 10 or 11. So it's been a long time, and we've got one coming out. We're working hard on it, and we're up against the deadline, and that's always hard when you're finally, when everybody's finding things that need to be fixed. How's it going with you? What's the latest? And by the way, we had talked about how different times of the process you have to. Nothing much from Screen Ghost. Okay, thanks for stopping in today. It's been a while. Always good to see folks chiming into the chat, especially when I've got my mic muted. And it's one of those lonely Tuesdays. Yeah. But this is a compelling photo. We talked a lot about, or I blabbed yesterday about thoughts about the photo and the cat and everything. But anyway, to be continued. We're carrying on. T. Swift. You know, you gotta have some contemporary stars. You gotta have some contemporary subject matter. From time to time. I get a little stuck in the 80s. So this one's a little trickier for a number of reasons. For one, it's a double portrait with kitty cat. And I don't know what the kitty cat's name is, but if you do, or if anyone else does, I'm all ears. But more difficult still is the fact that Screen Ghost, that's all right. Are you a Swiftie? Not a Swiftie. Yeah, I would imagine that like I'm starting to notice things about the different age demographics and the interest demographics across the different platforms, because I'm streaming. We got a Discord invitation from Yinkus28. I recently joined your live, and I can say I really enjoy the bit I watch. I will like us to link up on Discord. My Discord username is Yinkus28. Well, let me just warn people. I don't use Discord very often. So you're not going to get me on there, but happy to chat. Look at this. Well, anyway, sorry. What was that, Screen Ghost? Don't link up with people anyway. But the thing is, Screen Ghost, I'm such a greedy. I'm so greedy for likes and follows that I will happily allow anyone who follows my channel to just, spam it up. I don't know if that's a good thing or what, or if other people who genuinely want to like the channel might be like, this guy, he's just a follow hound. But nevertheless, obviously I'm not that greedy, because I don't sit around talking about follow me and do this and that. But I am considering, as I'm getting a little more comfortable and seeing that people do occasionally enjoy the stream, I'm getting a little more comfortable with the idea of putting links up, or putting like link to do a Screen Ghost. If you can stream like 3 times a week for some time, you will get your subs unlocked. Yeah, I did. Yes. And so here's what's interesting. Thank you. You should stream more so you can get some money of Twitch. Yeah, so thank you. You're the right person to chat with about this, for sure. Let me tell you what I've learned about it. I've got the 50 subs, but here's what's holding me back. It's the average viewership. And I understand that. Like, I have 2.3 average viewers, and it only starts clocking your whatever when you're at 3 viewers. So I do stream every day if I can, every weekday. Okay, long art streams don't generate that much views. Interesting. Yeah, I actually got a lot more viewership when I was doing my Zelda streams. And so, yeah, like look, the reason I do this mostly is so that it keeps me busy. Like, it keeps me painting in a way that normally I don't, because I'm such a attention fiend. I don't really paint when there's no audience, but I paint because I'm like, wow, people like this, I'm normally on Twitch like an hour later from now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think eventually I may get like a core of people who watch the stream regularly. But at the moment I have that, but it's just not, it's like not enough to unlock whatever needs to be unlocked. And anyway, I sincerely appreciate it, because again, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for the 2.3 average viewers who hang out every day. And I owe you guys for that, because it keeps me motivated. Let's put it that way. If you can start streaming late, I can put on like 4 alts and get the average up. Oh, no, thank you. Screen Ghost, I've thought about that. And let me tell you what my thinking is. We do the same thing with Zooborns. We don't want to game the system, because then it means that we're not doing something right, Like, if you can't get the 3 or 4 subs at once, then you're never going to make any ad revenue anyway. So if your content is no good, basically I don't want to be rewarded. But I sincerely appreciate your willingness to help. And if you have any thoughts about when I stream, or like, does it really help you to tell people your schedule? Like, I always was like, well, how important is that to people? I mean, if there's only 5, and in the end, I think we've talked a little bit about this, is that eventually all you're doing in the beginning is just streaming, like you're streaming, you're hoping people like it. And that's it. Why worry about all these other things? I mean, it's fun to worry about it, but just paint the kitty cat's fur, That's kind of my take on it. Even though it's a curiosity. Twitch works a little different when it comes to this. Say more about that. When it comes to what? If you don't mind. I'm going to get under the eyelids here while you give us your words of wisdom. On the weekends, you will get more views regardless, and after dinner on weekdays works the best from my experience. Got it. That's sort of what I thought. Yeah, it's like, makes sense, people are at home from work and doing stuff. But since there are multiple people speaking English all over the world, so it's a little tricky. Yeah. No, right. The competition is big. And I'm not like the world's most charismatic streamer, like, it's a certain audience. It's an acquired taste, perhaps, but I'm I'm just happy to do it, and then I'm building up this portfolio, and I like it. But if one day, I can get, and then it also with the different platforms, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the different platforms, you get the different, hang on. Yeah, you're right. I really like the morning, the 9 a.m. sort of motivational kickoff, because sometimes my work is going on anyway, you're right. I should definitely try one evening art stream for sure. I've never tried it. And it's interesting too that the it is interesting to note that the video game streaming on Twitch, at least for me, was far more exciting for the general viewership than this stuff. But that's okay. I think also if and when I get into the studio to do some live paintings in the studio, that could be helpful, because this is like, anybody can just set up their computer and stream, but it takes some gumption to get an actual canvas and a bunch of oil paint and invite people into your space. I mean, it's scary. That's kind of why I don't do it. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. But anyway, these are all things that I have in mind. And I figure there's something about the art streams that are, like a lot. Also, it's like the age group, like look at, well, first of all, they see me and they're like, who's this boomer? And then the next thing is they're often doing digital. If you're doing digital art, you're doing the, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Lots of creators, but not that many views. Yep. And also, what was I going to say? The art streamers tend to be a bit more in the anime world, which I am not. I just don't do that. Like, I can do other styles of art, but this is the money maker, like if you do realism, my understanding is, at least for me, this has been, in my experience, this has been the one that's most headline making, so to speak, because people like when it looks like the person. Okay, speaking of looking like the person, how scary is the nose right now? We got to figure that out. I missed something that you said here. I read your last chat, but not. On the weekends, you will get more views regardless. Yep. But since there are multiple people speaking English all over the world, it's a little tricky. You should check when Art Streams performs the best by trial and error. Now, wait a second. I'm not getting your new chats here for some reason. Huh. You're chatting, but it's showing up in... Hold on. Okay. You should check when arts... I would say pick a time where it's good for the Australia, USA, UK audience, so you will get viewers from in between as well. I'm not sure, though. Art doesn't really work all that well. Art has a ton of creators, but not that many viewers. Biggest art creators are all VTubers and just try to attract simps and are around 700 to 1,000 views. What do you mean VTubers? Can you tell me what that means? Like, do I need to put on a stretch leotard and hang a cat over my shoulders if I want more viewers? I don't know what a VTuber is, but it sounds like you're saying anime girls. Got it. Okay. I see. Well, you know, they're going to have to look somewhere else. If they're looking for anime girls on this channel, unfortunately, that's a service I can't provide. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think, here's the thing. I'm really doing this. 1,000 for Twitch isn't that good for top creators as well. Right. No, I know. I'm not looking to become a top much of anything. I sort of want to see if this could be a way to promote my art business, because yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you're definitely like, as somebody who has sort of forged a path for a 50,000 YouTube channel, which is not a lot for a top creator by any means, but you know, you think about it, what's the content there? It's baby animals. You'd think no brainer, but you know, it's not easy to compete for attention anywhere. So, you know, you'd think, how could give it a few months, and if it works, it works. Yeah, thanks. You know, like, the thing is too, this, like I say, it motivates me to do this stuff, because what I'm really trying to do is build up a library of time lapses. And then once those time lapses are in other words, by doing this stream at all, it's just like I'm hanging out and painting, and I wouldn't want to do that if I didn't think there was a chance that somebody would want to hang out and look at it. So I do that, and then I'm recording the stream. So, you know, what happens? I get these recordings on the other monitor, and those are the things that I think get the views. At least so far, it's the time lapses which have been lucrative in terms of views. And obviously those time lapses don't appear on Twitch. I mean, they can if I did like stories or something, but I don't have, again, I'm not a whatever. I haven't unlocked any of those features. But yeah, I think you see the challenge. It's like, but whatever I'm doing, it's leading to good things because it's making me paint. It's making me, where I'm talking about art, and I'm creating these little Instagram reels and stuff. And, on, for instance, on TikTok, there's a lot more going on there in terms of people saying, oh, I get it. That's cool. Like, Instagram is crickets. People don't really like it. And I think that's the older generation somewhat. They're like my friends who see that and they find out, oh, this digital art, what's that? Like, people in my generation are kind of like, digital art, I don't know what that is. Sounds like it's Photoshop. Bye-bye. So I think what's going to happen, hopefully, is I'll unlock the features in I'll unlock those features over at what's it called? TikTok, so I can do live streams via TikTok. And I don't know, I think there's it's just good to try everything, right? Like you're saying, try it all, take notes, see what's working. So far, I haven't even begun to get into the, I'll tell you, one thing that I want to do, you should aim for TikTok. There's a big art community there. Yeah. So if you check out my TikTok page, I think it's Crick East. I forget. I should link all this stuff, but there's a lot of views on the reels, on the shorts. Not a lot, but like the other day I put one up and it was the like per view ratio was high, and I was like, oh, this is gonna, and then the algorithms capped it, and that's just how it works. It makes you want to do another one. And so I'm just going to keep doing them. It doesn't really matter to me if the live stream works, because I need to be doing it in order to get my product going. I have to live stream because I don't like painting alone. You know what I mean? And even if there's no one watching, I'm like, yeah, feels like there's some, I better paint good, because what if someone's watching? So anyway, I don't know. It's all psychological, right? And also, I have a lot of things that I want to do that are apply, build up the portfolio, apply for illustration jobs, things like that. All right, look at this. Look at the greeny gray. Tones under the chin and mouth. Okay, so after the first 200 followers, you are set for the future. You should aim for TikTok. There is a big art community there. Promote your Twitch as well. Thank you. Yeah, where do I promote Twitch? I mean, I promote it to my friends on Facebook, and they're just they're all in their mid-40s. They're just like, Twitch? What are you talking about? I'm not going to Twitch. But I know what you're saying. It's just find a way to get the Twitch handle out there. If you want to grow fast, you should draw big creators instead of celebs. But growing too fast is also a bad thing. Interesting. Well, this is kind of yeah. So the original thing was, I wanted to do live portraits of speedrunners who were gaming. And I still want to do that. I think you're totally right. That was the original idea, was let's paint, whoever, Lack Attack or people that are in my generation, because just add your Twitch link to every account you have, stitch your Twitch to the end of your TikToks. Cool. Yeah. I also want to put up for example, things like, I want to say, I want to say like DM me for commissions, because I do think one thing that would just be cool would be like to do, well, anyway, you're totally right. I think it's time for me to start pushing all of this stuff you're talking about. And now, meanwhile, you mentioned Zooborns. Meanwhile, Zooborns is lagging because I don't have enough time. Like, I'm spending 3 hours every day doing this. And then by the time I do my real work, Zooborns is starting to suffer a little bit. I'm working on the book, but yeah, I sincerely appreciate it. Like, you're confirming things that I thought, and the way you're just telling me, like, you got to do this stuff, it's motivating me, See, it's like, that's what this is about. It's like getting the motivation and knowing that there are people out there like yourself who are saying, this is good stuff, I enjoy it. There might be other people like me, and try to promote it. So it's like, that's where the real value comes in for this for me, is like hanging out, connecting with people who like what I'm doing, and learning about art and streaming and everything. So I appreciate it. Okay, so take a look. We zoom out. Now we really got to hit under the eyes here. But yeah, can you remind me your time zone? Oh, see this? I'm more of a behind the screens guy than a creator, so I'm willing to help anyone. Amazing. Gotcha. You mean you're like a professional viewer? In other words, that's your passion, is seeing who's out there and what they're doing. Is that what you mean by behind the screens? I'm really not painting well, but that's okay. I'm more of a behind the scenes. 4:30 p.m. Wow. Okay, right. So you're, I have some other things in mind that I think you'll like. When's your best? When are you best? When are you most likely to be able to watch? That's within that kind of mainstream time frame. You know what I mean? Like, you think after dinner, my time, no, because then you're going to be middle of the night. I don't know. I want to tell you some of the things that I have in mind, but I also don't want to say them because I tend to not follow through if I've told somebody about my plan. Whoa. Dude, that's amazing. I'd love to hear what you think about the Zooborns YouTube content. Like, what can I do to boost viewership there. I mean, that's the real, what's the word? The opportunity is there. But, you know. Another thing that I'll tell you that I had an idea of was doing a video of my live stream, like a promotional video. So for instance, it would like show the time lapse. By the way, have you seen the time lapses? I know I keep talking about this and I'm sure you've seen them. But for the general audience, for most people, the time lapse is going to be more interesting than me sort of farting around in Photoshop. And I'm aware of that. But like, I think there's a way to bridge that gap and say, and do like a promotional video. Zooborns can't really grow that much since cute animals can only get you to somewhere. That's true. Well, same thing with like a middle-aged art guy, like, but it's more about, I think it's more about the community and like, I don't know, like we gotta put our heads together on this, Ghost. But I know you know what you're talking about. So that's exactly the thing. Cute animals only get you so far. And we're much more of a conservation thing, and we partner only with accredited zoos, and there's a lot to it that's educational, potentially edutaining. But at the moment, all we do is post news stories from the accredited zoos with which we partner. So time lapses will generate more viewers all the time since it's easier to consume. Oh yeah. So what I want to do is do like a 1 minute long, like a highlight reel, like maybe the Bob Ross one. When I was painting him, there was like a lot of funny banter and discussion. And so I think like showing the highlights of that particular painting and then editing it in conjunction with the time lapse. So you see the time lapse going, but you also, see some of the action, so to speak, from the stream. That was like one idea that I had for some like almost like middle ground content that's not quite just long form, but it's also oh, interesting. Sorry, somebody on TikTok. So it's not just long form. Anyway, I'm yapping again. Let's just paint. But really thankful for hanging in with me and chatting and all that. People are more willing to watch stuff if they think they're getting something from it. So maybe you can add fun facts. Yeah, well, totally. The other thing that needs to be done is, and I think you'll see this as and when I begin to get my IRL streams going, like my hang on. Eyes are the hardest. Basically, what I'm thinking is there's no reason people shouldn't feel welcome to like set up alongside me and get download the photo and learn how to do this. It's but I need to produce that kind of content. It can't just be like come on in and paint along with me. You need to have instructions, because people who just start painting. But that's where, me getting into the studio and doing my whole process from soup to nuts would be interesting. People would be like, whoa, that's how an oil painter in the traditional style learned how to paint. And I can do that too. So it's like sort of an instructional thing potentially. But more important than all of this is having interesting conversation. And I believe that the key to that is not in the chat. It's in having a live. Hang on. People are more willing to watch stuff if they think they're getting something from it, so maybe you can add fun facts. Oh, guys, this is a nightmare. Speaking of nightmares, we got to start over. Oh, my God. Oh, fun facts in the... Oh, yeah, totally. Zooborns. Okay, we're starting over today. Bummer. We were doing good, too, weren't we? Shoot. I knew something was wrong. So, shoot, I don't want to do this, but I have to. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Okay. Oh, shoot. Here we go, folks. Back to zero. All right. So, my time lapse is gone. It wasn't recording. I felt something was too good to be true. Display 2, display 3. Now we're recording. Dang. Yeah, you know why? Because I was chatting about baseball this morning for a half hour or more. Hang on, let me check something. All right. Well, that just goes to show sometimes you gotta... The time lapse is God, right? Time lapse is king. No, that's all right. So, you just got to kill it. And at least I had the original file still up. And, pardon me. All right, let's just go. What were we doing? We were painting Taylor Swift's face, and then we're going to move on to Kitty Cat. Yeah, and I could have just skipped that whole section, but when the face, just suddenly appears to have paint on it, it's not... The whole point is like, you get it. So, all right, where are we? Why? It's tough. Should we do the kitty instead? No. The sooner we get... I just don't know. You make the choice, Screen Ghost. You can farm some views from this? What do you mean? Oh, right. Well, it's recording over at YouTube. So you just put up like a reel that shows me forgetting and then erasing and starting over again. Okay, we're not gonna. We're not. What happened? Should I do the cat or totally? No, we're starting now. But should we do the cat's face or Taylor's face first? Here's my thing. I think the Taylor's face should be done, and then the cat. Okay, so let's just deal with that. Jeez. Okay. It's almost like I can just do this again with my eyes closed because we just did it, right? Joseph Finder. Got some work building up in real life too that needs to be addressed. Cat, ghost. Sorry, let me tell you why I didn't want to do that, and I think you'll agree with me. The cat, if like, yeah, I'm with you, but here's why I didn't want to do that. Because I think her face like this is so it's not it's ugly, it looks ugly in my painting somewhat. And I think people after like 4 seconds are usually like gonna just click away unless it starts to really look like a good painting. You know what I mean? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get her face to the level where, oh no, I can't. No, you're right. You know what? You're right. It's a tough call. Let's do what you're talking about here. Boom. Get out of here. And now we're going to start. Okay. So here's how we do it. It's a little stressful, right? That's okay. So here, we're gonna put our What do you mean start over? No, just today. Just today's time lapse was gone. So here, I'll show you while we're on. Okay, ready? Watch the screen record. So that's day 1. See? So that's enough to get them like saying, oh, that's Taylor. I see it. And so what I was thinking now is let's do her hair or something like that. Yeah, so we've only lost the beginning of the day. So we lost an hour. And that's fine. Like, I'm going to do 3 hours. Finish what you left off. So yeah, like, by going back to the cat now, after, like, think about it from the production standpoint. So you've got, and anyone else in the chat, who wants to chime in about this, since the time lapse is king, I started with her face, then I did the bod, and then you can fill in the cat's body a little with her hair, and then the face. Yeah, the face is, right? So it's like, I also don't want to finish her body yet because it's nice to have the artsy fartsy brush strokes going on. So it's all about, like, here was my plan, and you tell me if this sounds right. My plan was get, now that the body outline is filled in, then I'm going to revisit Taylor's face, get it cleaned up, then Kitty's face, and then blast in the background and hair. But I think it almost makes more sense to now do the hair and save her face for last, because that's kind of, but you just want the face to be, it's such a crapshoot. I don't know. Like, you tell me. I can't really be sure. It's a crapshoot because it's only 12 seconds anyway. The time lapse is 10 seconds. The cat's face. Okay. All right. Let's do the hair. Because look, here's my hypothesis. If I leave the face like this, like almost Taylor, but like almost looking scarier, like it's like Exorcist Taylor. If I leave it like that in the beginning, people will be like, like, is he going to finish the face? Is he going to finish, And so we'll do exactly. The hair will be quick in the time lapse. And if I leave her face for last, no, I know, it's 10 seconds, right? So I guess the thing to do is, like you're saying, let's just get highlights in the hair going. Okay, so we'll do all the hair, Cat and Taylor, and we'll move on from there. So with this all said and done, thanks for bearing with me. We'll do her hair and the cat's hair, and then we'll blast off with the heads. Because I think once the head is done, people are just like, okay, next reel. But if you leave the head unfinished, then they're kind of like, is he going to do the head? Like, what the, what? So the hair is actually the hardest part for me, by far. Wait, what's going on behind me? Why is there... Oh, I see. When the winter comes, too, I'm going to have to be careful. The angle of the sun is different. All right. That was crazy. And so what? It's now 9:55, so we're going to work till 12:55. We're going to skip lunch. My goodness, what a day, huh? Yeah, it's kind of it's a wound, You're like, ugh, do I have to do that again? Yes, you do. But it's all the same. It's all the same stuff. Whoops. Now suddenly, this will jinx me, but I see that we have. I see. Yep. I thought about it. We had 4 viewers at once there, and then suddenly we're down to 3. But 3, the more I talk about this, the more they'll hit the road. But we were talking before about viewership, and I wonder, I start thinking, whoa, maybe, are you, Ghost, are you Are you doing alt browsers? What did you call them? Like you could set up like a different browser and make it look like I have more viewers. Is that what's happening here? Because I have four concurrent viewers. That's big. Actually, day 2 sometimes is better than day 1 because there's something to look at. And I remember somebody came on yesterday and was like, "Oh, I can tell this is going to be good. Is there any reason why you leave those dark spots there in the face?" And I was like, yeah, that's kind of like the question you want people to be asking when they're watching the time lapse. Is like, can he do this? It looks like it's going to look good, but it doesn't. And maybe it will. Okay, so kitty cat, kitty cat. That's kind of nice. The little bristle brush almost looks like the cat hair to begin with. Yeah. So eventually what I'd like to do is, like you're saying, like do paintings of the creators. Now that's hard to do because you need good photos. Oh, come on. Getting my emails blowing up here. And not about stuff that's fun. Probably a Persian cat of some type. If anyone out there knows the name of the cat, I'd much appreciate some input there. Okay. Gosh, guys, the hair's the hardest. I'd forgotten how hard this one's going to be. I was thinking yesterday, like, oh, I could probably finish it tomorrow. And not only did I have the time lapse fail, but time lapse fail followed by just the fact that the cat hair is really hard to paint. Kitty cat, kitty cat. There's a show that I watch, not by choice, called Super Kitties. And it's like Paw Patrol, but for cat people. If you're familiar with Paw Patrol, I'm sorry. All right, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get this going quick? First of all, you got to just paint the cat. There's no way around it. Paint the cat. I'm really painting like a slow motion here. We got to get in the zone. All right, there we go. Here's a nice dark color. And we'll get our earring. A lot of neighborly conversation going outside on the stoop. That's exciting. I can't quite eavesdrop on it, though. Trying. So, squinting down, blonde hair also is the hardest, because look at what happens. It so quickly goes from dark to light. Hang on. Sorry. Caught another sneeze in the nick of time. So yeah, the hair. It's a fun distraction, but you should always be careful not to get too it shouldn't be too fun, too much fun. Let's get in here. Yeah, that was wrong. This should be more like this. It's a little bit more like this. Just a little bit more. What do you think? Would you guess that she did this photo shoot at her home, or did she lug the cats to the photography studio? I'm sure they came to her. God, this is so difficult. I really set myself up for a fun time here. Okay. Get our highlight color. Thank you, Screen Ghost. I'll try not to worry, but I'm it's a little discombobulating. That happened, I forget which one it was when that happened. And it was certainly unsettling, to say the least, when I lost my time lapse. Whoops. Now, get over here. So here, basically the idea of hair is to try to see it like it is try to envision it as though it's like a 3D thing. And obviously it is, but it's made up of all these chunks and different wrapping parts. And so one way to do it is to hit all the darkest darks, just like we do when we're starting the head. We find our darkest values, we pop them in. Let's get in here. Okay. Kitty cat, kitty cat. Wow. Guys, we're look at this. We've got 59 followers. I don't know how this is happening. A lot of it's spam or whatever, but feeling good. All right, we got to do the kitty hair here. Let's find out where this ends and where it begins. So much of this just needs to be. This time I didn't really do a good job of drawing out the hair and everything. But it doesn't matter. We're going to just get there. We'll get there by hook or by crook. And if you're just joining us, we lost our time lapse today, but we started over. And now we're going to try our best to regain what was lost. So look, over here, you can see there's kind of a patch of color in the hair that's darker here. You see what I'm saying? And then it fades down and bleeds into more blonde. Oh man, this is hard. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have chosen this one. There's our darker value for the hair over here next to Kitty's paw. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? I'm looking at this whole piece of hair here as though it's a series of highlights and darks and lights. Now, there's so much going on that if you get too sucked into each little individual hair and so forth, you're going to be in trouble. So nice. We get our highlight, because that's what that is. And then we it's funny, I can't quite remember. There we go. That'll carve in that way. It's kind of fun to have the hair be interesting like that. You know, we talk a bit about trying to keep things brushy. And I have varying degrees of success with doing that. I like photorealism. It's easier because you know what it's supposed to look like. I think when I get into this sort of more artsy, blurry effect, not blurry, but like, you know, the painterly brushstrokey thing, I lose confidence. Whereas if you're painting in a photorealistic way, you know what it's supposed to look like. I don't think there's any so that's pretty good, right? The hair. It's looking okay. We're gonna do more hair here. More hair here. And if at this point too, remember, if you want me to stop working on this kitty cat or do something else, just tell me where and I'll paint. We really got to hit these highlights. Whoops. That was supposed to be a kitty cat. Yeah, that was supposed to be a kitty cat. What's it called? Whisker. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna pop that in there. My goodness. More kitty cat whiskers, eh? Don't know. Let's get this stuff happening. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm trying to remember which painting it was where I got to a certain point and then I had to start over. Like if you look at I did one of Shigeru Miyamoto, and you can see what happens if you screw up the time lapse. There's suddenly one moment where all it's like the whole face changes suddenly, rather than it making sense why the strokes go in a certain way. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it because it's much neater looking when it all develops at once. This kitty's ridiculous expression. That is priceless right there. There's nothing more difficult, I think, than white hair, because there's almost no telling where it starts and where it ends. Here. Okay, so let's get a little hook here going around. See that little, is it kitty or is it human hair? We don't know. It starts to blend in, but that's okay. Is it raining? Is it pouring? I want the world, I want the whole world. I want to up in. We also don't want to work too much on the cat's head right now. Like we can plop in a little accent for the white chin. And the mustachio. See how that works. Animals are fun, right? Here, we're gonna try our best to there's so much going on down here in the hair that I haven't addressed. Let's just see what happens. Like everything else, so you can see, get your darkest darks. There's one there. There's one there. Look at these darks here. Sorry. Okay, and then this. It's like no. I can't even see like what I'm painting anymore. It's a real tangle here. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it. I knew this hair was trouble when I walked in. I could see it on the photo. Trouble, trouble. I knew you were. It's like the cat. The cat's hair is hard, but T. Swift's hair is even harder. I don't know. It's all hard. It's all hard. So we just complain and muddle through. Here's this gray. Very quiet out here today. And that's probably good because, I don't know. I think sometimes being able to focus on this stuff it's not always easy. But yeah, I noticed the neighbors talking and chattering was kind of annoying a bit, but also now that they're not talking, I'm realizing how quiet it is. And that is also, the grass is always greener. There's a little highlight. It's pretty critical to get that hair swoop. We'll do that in post too if we need to. All right. I think I had talked a little bit about this guy Pietro Annigoni previously, and he got away with murder in the hair. I mean, he didn't care at all if it looked accurate or if the colors were right. He did the heads quite well, but with the hair, it was often very mushy, not mushy, just sort of whatever, looks good enough. And it's tempting to go the way of Annigoni with some of these things. Okay. So here, very important here, is we're seeing the Have you ever seen a cat's eyes in the dark and wondered what they were? Did you ever pretend about things like that before? Did you ever grow anything in the garden? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. Okay. Yeah, the sooner we get the hair rolling, the sooner we get the colors in the hair going, I believe that we're going to start to see improvement across the board. Dude, I don't... Why my head is sparkling. Hold on. All right, sorry. Oh my God. Don't you worry. My goodness. Oh gosh, it was just oh boy. So how about those Yankees? Anyone watch the games last night? We got quite a bit of really tight races in the division series right now. I don't know if anybody noticed that. Sorry, I will say something about post-production versus who was it that was on here? Someone, I think it might have been Arian Del Art, who told me about using layers. And I kind of resisted layers. But I did something the other day where I used them really to my advantage, and I enjoyed that. So, thank you. Let's see here. So let's do some brushwork up here. Some beauty brushwork. Let's take her to the salon here. We need some highlights. Oh my gosh. It's not my day. We lost the time lapse. We don't know what we're doing. Like, I have all this crap going on in here for my underdrawing, and none of it is useful to me. I don't know what's where. We don't want to do that. Here's another. We're farming colors. The hairstylist here is pretty impressive, I would say. No? Probably half the battle is just getting the hair to sit perfectly. And the cat, as we'll notice later when I get into the nitty-gritty on the cat's face. It's they photoshopped in the head in the right position. Ain't no way you're gonna get a dog and a celeb to be in the right Time magazine cover ready position at the same time. It's got to be done in post. I've taken photos of people with their dogs and did not Photoshop, but I lucked out. In fact, if you look at the Instagram, there's a photo of the guy with his dog in one of the first 3 paintings. And that's a photo where, it worked out. The dog was very chill, but a cat is not going to sit still. So I guess it depends on the animal. Honey Molly. So little by little, we start to unlock our hair here. And squinting down, we can find our the color of the background coming through the hair. Hard to figure out what to paint here. Huron, South Dakota. No thanks. No offense to South Dakotans, but there's no way that's for me. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start feeding in highlights here. We're not being super accurate, and that's okay. I think it's cool to be accurate, but I've never been one to go nuts on accuracy in the hair. It's just not, the payoff isn't worth it. It's so now I'll tell you what is worth it. Let's get a little bit of momentum going, I guess you would call it, in the nose. And over here. Whoops. That was weird. Yikes. Sounds like there's some horrifying construction tool going. Not unlikely. Okay. Top of the nose here. Top of the morning to you. The rumbling belly of lunchtime. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna get any lunch. Actually, no, I'll have some quick leftovers. But not until we made some real progress here. We got one. We got another nose here somewhere. We got another nose. Dude, that is super lame. It's like a high pitch screaming saw. If you don't hear it, that's awesome. I'm going to start filling in here. Grab this middle value. Not quite, but not the worst. All right. So the last time we had this, we got into it was much more efficient. All right, that's kind of cool for the head for now. I kind of like that, but we'll see here. That's a super bad sound. Get it down here. Screechy. All right, hair coming along. Getting distracted, sidetracked by the face here. Easy to do. Okay, given we don't have any information on the cat hair here, that's what I think we gotta go with. We don't have any info here, so we kind of have to plow through. We know that it gets grayer here. What a mess. Do you hear that? Anybody hear that horrible sound? It's not cool. Sometimes they'll warn you. Not that that would have helped, but okay. I actually don't know. I don't know how to. It's one of those days. Just one of those days. I like that. I'll be right back. I'm going to put a stop to that. It drives me nuts. I gotta close that window. Okay. That was pretty crazy. So, kitty cat, kitty cat. Well, let's just find out while we're at it. What is the name of Taylor Swift's cat who appears on the cover of Time magazine? The cat featured with Taylor Swift on the cover of Time magazine is her ragdoll cat, Benjamin Button. How's that for a fun fact? That's brutal. I feel bad for whoever's using that tool, because that is just an ear killer. It hurts my ears, and it's probably like 4 stories away. 3 stories. I can feel it. All right, so we are obviously having kind of a slow day here. We started off with a failed time lapse. I'm not recovering from that entirely intelligently. So lots to complain about, for sure. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to let yourself off the hook and say, maybe next time will be better. But for now, Okay. Sometimes you gotta go back to the basics. And by basics, I mean in this case, the perennial comfort zone of the head. I'm starting to get lost. It's good because it's sort of a greeny gray, which we had found previously. Now we gotta find it again. Okay. Let's find our highlights. Pull this in here. And not to mention, oh man, it's one of those days, right? Just take a it's hard because yeah. Earlier on, if you were there when we did that, I lost my time lapse, so I took me a little while to get over that little tantrum there. Had to start over today's session, and I never really quite got past the shock of that. But that's what tomorrow's for, right? That's what tomorrow's for. We can procrastinate. And we will so our bottom of nose, this is where we need to be exploring here. Yeah, lots happened up here. So the way I approached the head before the meltdown sucks is like I'm feeling it, the time-lapse meltdown affected me more than I thought it would. And really rattled my cage. So here we are. We're just going to do what we do best. And even though the order is not quite what we wanted, it's going to be okay. It's an awful, awful sound. It's a squealy one. I think we also got into trying to clean up the lip here. That was one of the first things we did today. I think I'm just kind of going to retrace the steps. Go back to the scene of the crime, It's hard. Team. I feel like kind of, I let myself down a little bit today. But, like I say, it's an opportunity to Start again. I think one thing that happens is like when you have to start over, you're almost better off starting out. It's good practice, I guess, right? Just to deal with a disappointment like that. The technical fail and but I don't know. It drains your energy for sure. Sorry, guys. I am drained. So what do we think? You think we gotta get the eyebrow here? Bring it in. See that? And then there's potential here. Put that one. Very subtle. Goodness. Good gracious. Yeah, and sometimes what happens is when you lose your kind of focus like that, or you just can't keep, like what I'm doing in my head right now is like, oh, but I did that part better last time. And it's like, I want that outcome. I don't want this one. I want that head that I had before. So anyway, I'm just letting you inside the letting you under the hood a little bit, because that's what happens. You're like, I thought, I can do this. No problem. I'll just do it again. But really, I don't think I've ever had any experience repainting the same head that day. That was a bad idea. I think next time what I would do is, if I lose a time lapse, I'll just go on to something else, rather than try to get right in there, because I don't know. It didn't turn out how I was hoping. But that's okay. You can always turn it around, right? Yeah, let's try this. Let's zoom out and just crush it. We'll nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. I think part of my issue last time was getting too into the we don't want to get too into the details here. And now we'll get Benjamin Button's legs here. Yep, dip, 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 dip. There we go. Does this get us a little happier? I don't know. I feel a little happier. Fill out the shirt a little bit more. All right, so how are we doing out there? Anybody got any questions, concerns, comments? You want me to fill in the torso there? I don't know. I kind of barely pulled myself out of a dark spot there. And that's just what happens. It's like, I thought, oh, I got practice. I can practice this. Sorry. I don't even know. You know, you can get disappointed. And you have to get back on the horse because nobody else is going to do it for you. Okay. That's kind of cool. How about this? Hair. More hair, please. Let's get a hairbrush. We got whoops. Something like that. Let's get this brush going as well. Make a little loop-de-loop there. And we just keep looking. Like where do we need to be right now? We need to be filling in spots. I don't know. Fly away. So my hope is that we can sort of, I'm actually not going to try to rebuild the whole hour that we lost. I thought about doing that for a while in the beginning, but I think my wheels are starting to grind. And I don't know. I would hope that we can solve this. Let's plow, I think we can solve it tomorrow. I'm not gonna. Let's get Benjamin Button's little grill here. And finding more See that little half tone? That lives there. Sometimes it's very, very, very hard to do, but that's okay. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it. There's a little bit of kind of a rhythm here that you can see. Is this like a Pat Benatar, like Footloose thing? What's that movie? Fame, I'm gonna live forever. Around and in fame. Anyway, something like that. Yes, we could finish it there, but I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to grab all my wits and try to get my witty whiskers about me here. I'm only right. Get your whiskers about you, folks. Okay. Definitely part of the whole equation here is dude's jaw, his chin, his little brows. Mug. Muzzle? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, it feels a little bit like sometimes, I don't know if you experience this when you're doing something, it's like you think you've learned something and you think you're on a roll, but you're not. You think you can coast. But really, meanwhile, underneath, you're learning something that you didn't know before. And in this case, I don't know yet what it is, but I think I'm learning a little bit about the discipline of returning to the headspace, not of like, oh, I'll just do it the same that I did it before. Like, you really have to be fresh. You have to start fresh even when there's a mistake. I like to watch these like baseball players that, their team totally poops the bed, and then they're next at bat, they're like up there and they've cleared their mind and all this stuff. I don't know how to do that yet. Part of it's just like the training. You have to have been in those bad situations and come out the other end and know that it passes. So, and if you don't know what I'm babbling about, it's that I wasn't recording my screen, and I like to do a time lapse. And I wasn't recording for the first hour, and then so I erased all that work and started again. But I never quite got the attack that I wanted. I wasn't as aggressive as I needed to be the second go around. But, it all ends up the same place. It's just, sometimes you're like, you're fond of the brush strokes that you did, or, you're not paying attention in the same way. And so yada, yada, yada. The excuses, the self-pity is endless. The opportunity for self-pity. And that's sort of where I'm at now, but let's see if we can clear it. Clear it and start again, right? Just clear the decks. We got Benjamin Button. That's the name of the cat, we learned. There's Kitty coming through. Hang on, hang tight. Whoops. Let's see what this is. Whatever. Okay. So, interesting stuff happening as we start to. I mean, it's only day 2, right? And not to mention, I believe I underestimated how long this one would take anyway. Who knows? All right, where's this little guy's head? It's pretty good. Here. Doing it for a thrill. Going in. All right. Well, so to as we've been discussing, this is all about ups and downs, and I think just keeping our wits about us, especially with these ones, the paintings that have so much going on, like the hair pose is insane, and the cat, like, come on, let's pat ourselves on the back here for lasting this long and getting this far. I don't know. There's Kitty's eyes coming in. And you know, there's one ear. In one ear and out the other. Oh. Let's get in here and take care of Mr. Floofy's rest of his grill here a little bit. Okay. We did learn from ChatGPT that the animal pictured here is named Benjamin Button. Oh shit! What was that? Sorry. Didn't. Just grab this here. Try and get that outline. I like when cats see a squirrel outside and start chattering their teeth like that. That's pretty weird. How do they do it? And why do they do it? That's a bigger question. I mean, it's not like that's gonna change much, is it? Is it just like, who knows? I'll have to ask David Attenborough. Okay, the belly rumbling, that means it's almost time to close up shop for the day. And sign out. Thankfully. It's been a long one. It's been a hard one. And with all that said, I don't know, I think we've somewhat managed to keep a lid on things. And I'm going to just... I'm going to say thank you for coming in. If you haven't followed the stream or the channel, please do. And we're going to finish this one up, if not tomorrow, the following day. And feel free anytime to check out the other platforms. We got paintings on Instagram, and much more to come here. And thank you again. Actually, what I'd like to do is take this opportunity to start networking a little bit here. If you wouldn't mind staying with me for another moment while we just take a look at who's streaming out here. Some cool stuff happening. Ooh, now that's cool. Lots of anime, huh? Pygmy hippos. Happy birthday. Let's see what's going on here. I liked the look of this one up here. Let's try this one. Mayberry art. Mayberry art. Sorry, guys. Raid. That's loud. Take a look at these beautiful
Motive.
Let's see how this goes.
I stand by Pastor